Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Could this all be Donald Trump's master plan? Folks, the more information that starts to trickle in on this most recent FBI Mar-a-Lago raid, the more a picture is starting to be painted and people are starting to see the whole image. This Mar-a-Lago raid might have been exactly what Donald Trump needed. In fact, it might have all been part of the plan since the start. And you know it's getting real bad for Democrats. You know they're getting desperate. You know they're starting to panic when you turn on CNN or you go to Politico.com, and they're basically admitting exactly that this might have been the biggest mistake, the biggest Democrat political miscalculation of yet. Folks, exactly like I said in my video the other day, the Democrats, and especially all the Democrats at MSNBC, are celebrating, but it might be a little bit premature to say the least, because it already seems like Democrats have gone from full-on cheering, rallying in the streets, "We got Donald Trump this time," to "Oh shit, what did we just do?" Let me give you guys a glimpse into the Democrat panic, and then let me fill you guys in on the facts of the matter and why I think this whole thing might have been a calculated play from President 45. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so you guys remember the montage from 2 days ago, all the left-wing media hacks celebrating the raid on Donald Trump's home. Well, it's gone from that to now CNN reporting like this.
I think one thing everyone agrees on is there are a lot of questions here, Paul. A lot of questions. Not a lot more answers to come. We've heard a lot about the Presidential Records Act now and have for quite some time. If this becomes a Presidential Records Act violation, not more, do you think it is enough to warrant all of this?
No, it's not enough to warrant all this. And this is a daring and dangerous move by the Department of Justice to serve a warrant on a former president and to raid his personal residence.
I'm hoping goes beyond simply not complying with some archiving laws, or DOJ just handed Donald Trump the Republican nominee and potentially the presidency. If it's seen as some sort of massive overreach and not something incredibly serious, this is a very good day for Donald Trump.
Look, this just happened. So the ramifications are still mostly unknown. But in the short term, what it looks like is exactly what Alyssa said. I mean, I cannot tell you how many Republicans I have talked to who have said that just the political way that he handled this is vintage Trump. And for his short-term political goal, which is, if it is, in fact, to get the Republican nomination, kind of genius, because he has used look at the buzzwords he used in that statement: Occupy, raid. He basically said it was the deep state, which totally triggers and animates the people who not only who like him, but there was concern, according to people around Trump, that he was losing some mojo. He was having some trouble raising money, and this, he believes, turns it around.
Now, already the panic sets in. They went from overly confident to, "Oh crap, what did we just do?" Well, it's very simple, lefties. You might have just unleashed the beast. See, when this whole thing started, when this news hit, we didn't have very much information, and it was extremely shocking. But you give it a couple days and you start to think about the timeline, the chronological order of everything, and you start to see the big picture, the whole picture. Donald Trump himself announced the Mar-a-Lago raid. He's the one who amplified it. Then you have the empty safe, and you start to think, wait, maybe Donald Trump knew this raid was coming. Maybe he was aware of it, and maybe he knew that they were going to find nothing. His safe was absolutely empty, and he was setting the whole thing up as a massive publicity strategy, then dropping his CPAC campaign ad on Truth Social and hauling in a massive amount of funds through his campaign fundraising. And you really start to think that maybe this is yet again another deep state nothing burger, except this time Donald Trump got ahead of it and did what Donald Trump does best: create the perfect optics for his campaign comeback, and of course further amplifying his image of man versus machine, him against the establishment, him against a corrupt federal government that has gotten too big and too powerful and thinks they could walk all over Republicans. And man, if you think about it, if this is all true, then the man is an absolute genius. There is nobody who gets free press like Donald Trump, I'll tell you that much. much. To have this kind of narrative and message amplification without having to spend a dime, in fact making money while the whole situation plays out, has to be one of the most genius political 4D chess moves, if it's the case, I've ever seen. And I'm really convinced that it's the case. I mean, maybe not 100%. I don't want to sound like too much of a conspiracy theorist, but even if you listen to Kash Patel, who's one of Donald Trump's right-hand men, it really seems like they were ahead of this one.
So I asked you before, Kash, do you think Trump is going to be indicted? You said 0% chance. Has this raid changed your calculus of how audacious they have become?
Not how audacious they have become, and I stick by my position that he's not going to be indicted, because from public reporting, the best I can tell, there's twofold reasons to raid him, right? Classified information. He's the president of the United States. I put out a statement on fightwithcash.com, which was President Trump's statement in October of 2020, where he declassified every document related to Russiagate and the Hillary Clinton email scandal. Fast forward to December and January before he left office, he declassified whole sets of documents before he left office. He's the unilateral classification authority as commander-in-chief. So what are they going to do? Plus, he still has a security clearance. Obama still has tons of classified documents at his house. And he should. He's a former president. Same with Bush. So what are they going to prosecute him for?
So Obama has classified documents at his home?
Yes.
And so does Bush?
Yes.
So the FBI should go raid Obama and Bush's home now?
By this precedent, they should. I would never have called for it before.
How about Jimmy Carter? Let's just raid Jimmy Carter's home too.
Sure.
He has some note to Ronald Reagan he wrote on the way out.
The other thing I want to chime in on is this Mark Elias. Remember, this guy that started the Russiagate hoax, who got paid millions of dollars for the DNC, by the DNC and Hillary campaign, to perpetuate the biggest fraud, and has been named a criminal co-conspirator by John Durham. He put out this note where he said, look at this statute. It says if you take National Archives information, you cannot hold public office. That's true, except that statute doesn't apply to the president of the United States. The Constitution dictates the office of the presidency and a constitutional amendment only. That statute does not. I'm glad the mainstream media is taking it as bait, but what's the crime? What are they going to do? Say he had documents he was supposed to have?
And this is exactly what we reported on yesterday. Donald Trump was already cooperating with the National Archives and Records Administration. He had already handed them all of the boxes that they had requested. And now Kash Patel gives us further insight that apparently all the documents from Donald Trump's presidency related to Russiagate and the others that he took home with him, he declassified them before taking them home. Kash Patel says that he's 100% sure that Donald Trump will not be indicted. In other words, the FBI overstepped, the FBI possibly got played here. Donald Trump was a step ahead of them, and they raided him for nothing. And you really start to see the corruption, the double standard, and the partisanship when Kash Patel highlights that Barack Obama possesses tens of thousands of classified documents at his personal home. Bill Clinton the same thing, but they never got raided. But somehow Donald Trump is a criminal for holding on to documents that even if they were classified, he technically, as an ex-president, still has the right to view classified documents, has the green light, and secondly, he apparently declassified them all in the first place. Take a look at this reporting from the New York Post. FBI Trump raid exposes Washington's secrecy shams. Obama White House lawyers repeatedly invoked the Presidential Records Act to, quote, delay the release of thousands of pages of records from President Bill Clinton's White House. Politico reported. At the end of his presidency, Barack Obama trucked 30 million pages of his administration's records to Chicago, promising to digitize them and eventually put them online, a move that outraged historians. More than 5 years after Obama's presidency ended, the National Archives webpage reveals that 0 pages have been digitized and disclosed. People can file requests via the Freedom of Information Act, a law that Obama helped wreck, to access Obama records, but responses from presidential libraries can be delayed for years, even more than a decade if the information is classified. Similarly, President Joe Biden double-crossed Americans on disclosing records from his 36-year Senate career. In 2011, Biden donated 1,875 boxes of documents from his Senate days to the University of Delaware, which received federal subsidies to curate the collection while it was locked up. Biden and the university promised to unseal the records 2 years after Biden retires from public office. Biden retired as vice president in January 2017, but the library announced just before Biden launched his presidential campaign that secrecy would continue until 2 years after Biden retires from public life. So apparently, Donald Trump got raided by the FBI over 15 boxes. Meanwhile, Obama has 30 million pages. Joe Biden is still in possession of 1,875 boxes being held at the University of Delaware. Of course, Bush has documents unclassified and classified in his home, Bill Clinton the same thing. I mean, the list goes on. Yet they supposedly raided Donald Trump's home over this. Over 15 boxes that, from my understanding, he already gave back. And they raided his safe and found absolutely nothing. Folks, I think this was a trap. I think Donald Trump knew that they were going to overstep, that they were going to raid his home, and he set the whole thing up, left them an empty safe. I mean, there was probably one piece of paper in the safe that said, "Let's go, Brandon." And then he hauls in millions upon millions of dollars, gets the public image bounce back that he needed. And I think the Democrats are starting to realize what's going on here, and they're in panic mode. In fact, take a look at this headline right over here from Politico. Handed him a lifeline. 5 takeaways from the post-Mar-a-Lago primary. The FBI search of Trump's Florida residence is already rearranging the midterm election landscape. Republican primaries resumed one day after the FBI search in Mar-a-Lago, which appears to have only cemented Donald Trump's standing in the GOP ahead of 2024. It's turning out, I mean, not 100%, but that the best case scenario, the Democrats made a serious political miscalculation and did nothing but bump Donald Trump's political stock up, might actually be the case here, and it might have all been a 4D chess move from the Trump team, which makes it all that much more impressive. The media and federal agencies play a predictable game, and it seems as though this time, Donald Trump might have got ahead of them. An absolutely beautiful potential situation if it all plays out the way the Trump team is expecting. These corrupt federal agencies and the corrupt media may have just been played. That's what I got for you guys, though. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you're up for it. I'm gonna get back to work. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.